This is a very representative sculpture for the program I'm running here in Maastricht, selected every year for here. And I'm very happy to say this is going to a public space which been in Leuven, in the future major hotel at the Market Square. It's going to please the public who's visiting that hotel, of which I hear it will be opened in June. So this is going to be soon in the public for the general pleasure. The owner of the hotel is enchanted by this field, and we knew each other from Maastricht, and then he came forward and he asked me if I could advise him on his hotel, and it will be an exciting opportunity to something in public, in a public space.
What is it exactly?
It's representing Venus hiding herself. Her arms are gone, but in fact she's really hiding her bosom and her sex, and it's a typical piece which would stand in Roman houses in the courtyard. It comes from London, that piece, and belonged to a private collector from whom the English dealer whom I know bought it from. Then it was exported officially to Switzerland from England. As usual, you get passports and so on.
So, can you say something in what range of value we talk about?
These pieces are worth several €100,000, of course. I will not display a precise price, but these pieces, it's very large, do have a substantial value, but notwithstanding that, I would still say antiquities with provenance are very attractive because they represent a lot, and they represent our own culture. We immediately grab and understand the meaning of these sculptures because they are reflected in architecture, Renaissance, and in our own culture. I'm very proud to present this because it's the second known in the world. It's a muscular breastplate. Many are in bronzes, probably about 200 known, but only this in iron is the second one known. So it must have protected the body of a prince or a king, a commander-in-chief of the army at around 400 BC. And it comes from a French private collection, and I acquired it in Paris, and I was just very, very lucky. I could have sold it 3 times. I'm very happy for the collector who bought it, and one of the parties who couldn't buy it, a public institution, asked me if they could have it on loan. So I have to contact the collector who just bought it, because there is a major public collection in the States who would like to show it in their exhibition.
Okay. And you sold it already at the preview?
I sold it right away, and what I was explaining before shows the function of the dealer is also the intermediate, because between the public sector and the private sector. We can help both by putting them together.
But you had more candidates for it.
Yes, I had another collector from France who missed the piece. He was very sporty about it, and the whole thing was, everything was very friendly. But of course it's very difficult if several of your best collectors want to buy the same piece at roughly the same time at the opening.
And if you have at the same moment more candidates, it doesn't work that then the price rise?
Not at all. It's first come, first serves. That is fair.
It's not like an auction.
It's not an auction, absolutely not. And of course you have to accept that very good works of art, as they are presented here at TEFAF, could have sold several times. So you have an imaginary budget thinking how much you could sell such a piece, but that shows the quality of the fair.
After TEFAF Maastricht, the dealers will look forward to TEFAF New York. What do the dealers from New York expect from that?
I am experienced with the market, and I think it's wonderful that TEFAF is doing this fair. It'll be great for Americans to get more exposure to TEFAF and the foundation.
Actually, I have been suggesting that here for many, many years. I love the idea of TEFAF New York. I think that the brand of TEFAF, just the phrase, has become synonymous with the highest quality, and also because of the strict vetting, I think that collectors have great confidence when they come to TEFAF, and I think the same thing will happen in New York.
Well, I've been doing fairs at the Armory in New York for about 30 or 35 years, and I was one of the founders of the Art Dealers Association fair there, and we've had a need for a long time for not only a good old master fair, but a first-class fair for modern and contemporary work. And the presentation that we saw yesterday, the plan for TEFAF at the Armory, which is only 2 blocks from my gallery. I think I'm the second closest.
You are the
gallery.
neighbor.
I'm a close neighbor. In fact, we usually walk our things over there. We don't even need to hire a truck. But the plan I saw is just incredibly exciting. I mean, this idea of a second skin and coming around through the side, I think it's going to be such an eye-opener to New Yorkers and to Americans to what a fair can be, people who can't make it here, and I think it should be a tremendous success.
The Armory on 67th and Park is literally 100 meters from my gallery, and yet we will exhibit in the Armory because we want to be associated with the TEFAF brand. Yeah. Even though you could throw a stone and hit my gallery from where TEFAF will be in New York. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we're extremely excited about it.
But I think a good reason to be doing that fair is to generate interest in the States for the foundation so that more Americans travel here for this fair.
Yeah. And are you experienced with shows in New York, for example, in the Armory?
Yes, I have done the one in the fall that was just purchased by TEFAF, so that's a very good show, and I'm sure now it'll be even better. It'll be like a mini Maastricht there.
But if you do TEFAF New York, you still will do TEFAF Maastricht?
Oh yes, absolutely. It's 2 very different collector bases. Some Americans come here, but many don't. Yeah. Some Europeans come visit us in New York, but many don't.
I think we're going to have to work very hard at sustaining it and to making sure that the level of dealers that are admitted into it are just the very highest quality. I think it's very important that the kind of TEFAF dealer that we have here is represented there. Yeah. So that's my reaction. I think it's a very exciting development, and I hope that it does not detract from TEFAF Maastricht, which I still regard as our core fair.
Yeah. And you think that it could be possible that it is in a way a threat for Maastricht?
Not a threat, but it concerns me some. I mean, I've heard some people say there are only 2,500 Americans now that come to Maastricht, but I can tell you they're very important Americans. Yeah. And since, as we all know, people are captive when they come to Maastricht, that's not the case in New York. I mean, I don't need to say it. You've heard it before. We have the opera, we have many galleries, we have many exhibitions, we have Broadway, we have off-Broadway. On the other hand, the Armory being on the Upper East Side, we get very important collectors when we're in a fair there who just drop by after work. They'll come 3 times, 4 times, 5 times to the fair, and that's one of the great virtues of the Armory. It really is a fantastic building. I mean, I also heard in the presentation yesterday about how gloomy it is. I just don't agree with that. It is a great, great building, and I know that we're going to transform it to a very tremendous degree, but it is a terrific, terrific architectural landmark in the city of New York, right in the middle of the Upper East Side on Park Avenue.
TEFAF will always be special because the convention center is so big that it really allows such a huge both concentration in certain fields but also diversity. And I don't think that will ever change. Sadly, in New York, we don't have a great building like this to do a fair with this many galleries. So in TEFAF New York, they're splitting it into 2 times per year.
You will be there?
Well, I'm hoping to be. I have to apply like everybody else. As a matter of fact, I have the papers on my desk right now. Right now, because
fill in.
Well, I filled them in, but it's not printing out properly. So I'm waiting for somebody from the administration to come by to tell us how to print it. Actually, so there it is. Yeah.
Okay. So this is part of a special collection you bring here in Maastricht.
Yeah, it comes from the estate of August Zander. August Zander is a German photographer who is very well known for his portraits. beginning 1910 and ends 1935. And this is the last decision, the last choice of him, because he got 1960 a German art prize for his life work, and he made 70 prints for an exhibition for the Photokina in Cologne, and later for his city where he was born, in Herford in Germany. And they were only on sale as a group, the 70 pieces. On display are 3, one of the well-known, the boxers and the pastry cook and the handlanger, I don't know the English word. And it cost 2.8 million euros.
Together the 70?
Together, all 70 prints.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to buy only the 3 of them?
He can buy the 3 and he can put the other 67 on loan to a museum. But it's only possible as group. Because it's the last choice of his life. He died 1964.
And are clients, visitors already interested in the work?
Mostly, not clients, mostly museums. American museum, 2 American museums and 1 European, and we will see. It's many interests for the group because it's an exhibition. It's 70 pieces, very large pieces. Most of August Sander are smaller size, in 8 by 10 inch. And it was done by Lifetime, and some of single prints, when single prints came on the market, it cost between 200 and 300,000 euros.
And maybe if you talk with museums, it can take a few months after the fair.
Of course. It's a lot of money for photographs, and you cannot buy it by cash and carry.